Well, I've got a new project today. I've got one of the large ammo cans. It's 18 by 10 by 6 with latches on both ends. And what I want to do with that is make a Dakota fire pit. It'll be something you put out in your bug out vehicle. Won't be something you'll pack out 20 miles, but it will be a car camp style. I'll cut this in half, weld pegs on the upside, then I'll have a pot stand on top of that, so it'll sit about that high when it's all finished. But I do plan on putting an inner wall all the way around this, fill it with vermiculite, that way it don't burn up the paint on the outside. So I've come out to my scrap pile and I found an old dryer that I'm going to use the metal off of, and it just fits top to bottom. I did have to shrink it from 16 inch to 15 inch to get it all to fit, but that won't be a problem, just a little bit more vermiculite. Okay, it just took a minute to cut out with the angle grinder the cutoff wheel. It's all coming together. Next we'll bend it. Well, there we go. I've got it cut out and bent. It does fit inside. So next thing to do is go ahead and wire feed weld that. Then I'll be able to put vermiculite down in the bottom and then on the sides as well. So I've got that welded up and stressed in. Fits nice. Now I'll just need to cut the step here. So I have a high side. This will be welded into the top that's put there. I will have this cut where this will set on top of everything for the pan. That way that does get a chimney effect like the Dakota fire pit does. Okay, so I've got the notch cut in it and I've got the top piece bent. This will be right here with a hole here as well to feed the sticks in, and then obviously the high side creates a chimney effect which will make it exhaust out the top. So we'll get this cut, we'll get holes cut here, and then we'll fit that with the vermiculite. So I've got the piece welded in here, piece cut out here. Next step is to take this and weld bars in for the pot to sit on and hold that up. So that's next. So I've welded the bars on, and this is where it'll sit when it's being transported around. And you pull that out. It has these 4 tabs that will key this in and keep it in place. And then you can set your pot on top of that. I will have to adjust these. I just have to go find me a cook pot to set on there, see how it's going to fit. So the next step would be to put the vermiculite on the bottom, pull all this out, put vermiculite across the bottom, set that on the base, pour vermiculite on the 2 ends and the 2 sides, fill that up. That way the heat from the fire doesn't cook the outside of the metal. So I wanted to check, see how a pot would sit on here. That looks pretty good. And next thing I'll have to do is go ahead and get this thing lit up, see how it works. Some sand. just going to help with not burning up the bottom of it, possibly. Like I say, this is a car camp or a truck camp setup, so I'm not expecting you to pack it out into the woods 20 miles or even a mile. Get this lit up and I'll show you what's next. And we got a full pot of water in our test cow. I did put a little bit of diesel on the cedar. That's what's in starting wood for your barbecue briquettes. So we'll get the cedar in there to start everything. It looks like it's drafting well. Now in this bucket here I have everything from thumb size, finger size, and bigger. So I'm going to test what works best. This is all out of my burn pile, so it's been drying all winter long. Just going to set things in and see what catches and kind of gauge how this is going to work. This is a bit big and a bit ridiculous for thinking you'll take it camping, but the concept is good, having a Dakota fire pit without having to dig a hole. The benefit of a Dakota fire pit though is after you're done cooking you can just fill the dirt back in and put out the fire and leave no trace. Smaller stuff here to get it going good. Yeah, it's dry. I am arching that up so the flame stays underneath it to catch it. Like to see some flame licking up across the bottom of that though. It's just getting started. So I'll let that get flaming and we'll get right back with you. And possibly make a little bit bigger hole on this side as well to get more oxygen flowing. I think I can improve on what we have here. But I do have a good coal bed down inside, and I'm putting some maple in. That is drier. This stuff's been rained on. Even though it is dry, I don't think it's as dry as it could be. But I am getting flame up to where the pot is now. this could work. It's just a matter of playing with it to see what works best and what does not work at all. But like I say, I think putting that V in will force the air underneath, so I'm not getting this backdraft of flame coming this way. It'll get the flame all going that direction. Okay, this is still hot. It has cooled down just a little bit, but I made a V, and what I want to do is I want to put that V right in here to get that air to supercharge down. Well, it does look like that helped. I am getting flame up the tube now, where I wasn't before. So I've been playing with this stove and putting maple right up underneath the pot. Seems to work the best. I do have a good ash bed in there with lots of coals. But keeping everything clear from where you drop the wood in seems to work the best. That way it gets the best airflow. Putting that V in as well has helped. That way the air doesn't just pass through to the burn chamber. It actually gets down and helps the wood burn. And I am getting fire up to the pot, so I think putting that V in there definitely helped. But where you see smoke, there's not fire. Even though I do have a good fire bed, you can hear it. That's what you should hear in a Dakota fire pit, or even. You do see the flame coming out. That's what I wanted. I think what the secret was is when you drop wood in, don't make it too big a piece. Make sure it's good and dry. And then push it forward where I have the coal bed, so all the wood is sitting right in here. And then the oxygen has a big chamber here to come down under that V I put in here. Come down and catch that wood on fire, and it brings it up in a good flame. So that was the secret to getting this to work. I was basically putting sticks in, hoping they would burn and throw the flame up, but that wasn't working. Yeah, the old cow's still talking. It'll work. I think I've made better rocket stoves that work easier. But if you got it and you want to play around with it, it'll work. Now that I've made it, I'll use it. Thinking maybe what I'll do is put a piece of metal in that kind of drops in a circular motion down to the bottom here, so anything I drop in will actually self-feed to this area here. And that way I just need to give it a little push with the next stick. I think that'll be a nice add-on. Won't add any much extra weight. It's already heavy, but it definitely works. I've got flame coming up the hole. I just had to figure out how to use this thing. I like it.